Today I'm going to show you one of my white currants and how I stool layered it to try to turn one plant into 12. So I believe I layered it 1 to 2 years ago. I don't know exactly when. And all I used was broken down plant matter, so weeds that I had thrown in a bucket of water, and it turned into a gook. And since it was really wet, I thought it would make good contact with the branch, keep it wet, and then I put wood chips on top of that. Some of them seem to have rooted well, and some of them didn't, and I've been thinking about which ones I want to cut off the main plant. The one that I'm going to keep as the main plant is going to be this center stalk. If I was risk averse, I would probably leave half of them on the plant since they didn't root well. But this is a learning channel, and I am a forever learner, experimenter. But the main reason why I'm going to remove most of them anyway is because it is a currant, and currants are famous for being really easy to propagate with this method. So we're going to go ahead and cut them all off and stick them in the ground, and we'll see which ones take. The risk in doing it, if it doesn't work, is that you lose the fruit production that you might have had from that branch. And it's a risk that I'm willing to take for the purpose of learning. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut them all up, the ones that I'm going to replant, and I'm gonna show you the different degrees of rooting that they did. This is my best looking of the cuttings. Not only are there a lot of roots coming off of it, but there's not a lot of growth on top that it has to support. I don't know if this is wise at all, but I'm going to plant it facing away from the sun to encourage it to branch out towards the sun and to create a more kind of like balanced look. As you can see, this is another good one. So there's 3 that I planted here, and there's 3 that I planted there. This comfrey is going to get huge, and it'll shade maybe most of them, and that could be a good thing because currants like shade, because they'll be fragile if they were in full sun. This is how the other 3 look. Not very promising. And here are those 3 planted. This is what the mommy plant looks like now. And I have 2 more to go. Okay, these are my last 2 that I planted. These ones I planted closer to the house, just so I can have a couple I can keep my eyes out on. The soil here is way better than the soil that I put the other 9. So that's all 11, plus the mommy plant. I've been out here for a while. It's a lot of work to plant 11 cuttings, so I'm gonna head in. A couple of final quick thoughts. One of the issues with the back to Eden method is when you dig holes, some of the wood chips can fall into the hole. And one way to sort of mitigate that is when you dig the dirt out, to put the dirt in a bucket and not just lay them on the wood chips. Because then when you put the dirt back in the hole, you get some of the wood chips in the dirt. I've never learned that lesson well. So that's another risk that I took today, is some of them were buried with wood chips. Another thought is you're not supposed to dig around in heavily wet soil, but you're also supposed to plant things when they're dormant in the winter. So you're kind of ruining soil structure, but you kind of have to do it because it's the time of year to do it. I'm hopeful that maybe 3 to 5 of the 11 will work. Either way, the lesson from this is going to be quite interesting. So check back to see if these even leaf out. They could leaf out and still end up dying. I've had cuttings do that before, but we'll see. So today was chicken poo collection day, so I decided to put some poo on my new currants. Since it's winter time, we're never too far from a rain, so I'm just gonna let the future rainwater water the poo in, and hopefully that'll sort of neutralize the wood chips that got into the holes, the planting holes. The wood chips were not fresh. They're somewhat broken down, but it's still buried carbon. So now I have some nitrogen to counteract that.